Caitlin Clark has finally confirmed the news every fan has been waiting for. Her comeback is real, and the WNBA will never be the same. After weeks of injuries, setbacks, rumors, and complete silence, she's breaking through the doubt. Her return has left fans stunned, rivals nervous, and the entire league holding its breath. This season was supposed to be about dominance. Instead, it turned into a war with her own body. First came the groin injury that sidelined her when the Fever needed her most, sparking endless debates over whether she was being properly protected on the court. Then, just as her return seemed near, disaster struck again, a bone bruise in her left ankle during solo training in early August. Overnight, her timeline shifted from uncertain to unpredictable, and whispers spread. Would Caitlin even play again this season? The timing couldn't have been worse. Indiana's guard rotation collapsed with Ari McDonald, Julie Alamand, and Sophie Cunningham all injured. What was supposed to be Caitlin's breakout run became a nightmare as the Fever stumbled toward the finish line. Coaches insisted they were hopeful but refused to give a date, while fans flooded social media with one desperate question: when is Caitlin coming back? But the story wasn't just about recovery. It was about pressure from fans, from media, and from the league itself. Her return stopped feeling like a simple comeback and started looking like a high-stakes gamble. Without Clark, the WNBA felt noticeably different. Ticket sales dipped. Broadcast crews scrambled to hold ratings. Every tiny update, from Coach Stephanie White, an insider leak, or even a vague tweet, was treated like breaking news. Rumors swirled. Some insiders hinted she could return in late August against a rival. Others pushed for her to sit out the season. Analysts debated daily whether the Fever had any playoff chance without her. Even rival players weighed in. Sophie Cunningham warned, "Almost ready doesn't cut it at this level," hinting Clark's return had to be at 100%. Was it criticism, support, or both? Fans couldn't decide. Still, the buzz only grew louder. Every mention of her name lit up social media. ESPN analysts claimed her comeback could instantly shift playoff dynamics. And now, the wait is finally over. Caitlin Clark is back, and the entire league knows nothing will ever be the same. Leagues, sponsors, and even broadcasters all knew one thing. The moment Caitlin Clark steps back onto the court, the entire WNBA changes overnight. But this comeback isn't just about her return. It's about the weight of history. Because the last time Caitlin came back from injury, she didn't just return. She erupted. Against the powerhouse New York Liberty, in what was supposed to be a long night for the Fever, she delivered one of the greatest comeback performances the league had ever seen. 32 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 7 three-pointers that felt like daggers from another planet. The Liberty's undefeated streak ended that night. The Fever season was suddenly alive again. And Caitlin Clark reminded the world why she wasn't just hype, wasn't just ticket sales, and wasn't just a headline machine. She was a generational talent who could flip the script on the biggest stage. Social media exploded. Highlights ran for days. Even NBA legends couldn't resist. LeBron James himself jumped on X and wrote, "CECE effect. Welcome back." Cementing Clark's status not just as a WNBA star, but as a global name. That game set the bar. And now, as her latest return looms, the question is inescapable. Can she repeat the magic, or has the weight of injuries and pressure finally caught up with her? This time, the stakes are higher. The Fever are barely holding on, their guard depth destroyed with McDonald, Alamand, and Cunningham all out for the season. Without Caitlin, they've been forced to grind for every win, leaning on unlikely heroes and fiery speeches from Coach Stephanie White just to survive. One miracle even came in an overtime thriller, when sheer grit carried them to victory. But everyone knows the truth. Without Clark, a real playoff run feels almost impossible. And it's not just Indiana that feels the impact. The WNBA itself does. Attendance and viewership are at record highs, but much of that momentum flows directly through Caitlin Clark. She drives ticket sales. She makes highlight reels trend globally. She brings in fans who've never watched before. Her absence isn't just a setback for the Fever. It's a hole the entire league struggles to fill. That's why this comeback feels different. It's not just about proving she can play again. It's about survival, for her team, and maybe even for the WNBA itself. This comeback isn't just about healing her body. It's about carrying the weight of her team, her fans, and maybe even the future of the WNBA itself. The pressure is enormous. If Caitlin Clark returns too early, she risks aggravating her injury and derailing her career. If she waits too long, she risks letting the Fever season slip away completely. Either way, her decision is a gamble, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Then, the news fans had been begging for finally arrived. Caitlin Clark is preparing to step back onto the court, and the basketball world is bracing for impact. After weeks of silence, rumors, and frustration, the breakthrough didn't come through a flashy press conference or a viral social media post. Instead, it leaked out piece by piece. Coach Stephanie White hinted that Clark was already back in live practices. Teammates whispered she looked sharp. Insiders reported she was targeting late August for her official return. And just like that, the silence cracked. Fans finally had their answer. Caitlin Clark is coming back. The reaction was immediate. Social media erupted. Some posts filled with crying emojis and fire symbols, others skeptical, warning she shouldn't risk another setback so soon. ESPN anchors debated the news like it was a playoff result, calling it the single biggest turning point of the WNBA season. Rival teams brace for impact, knowing a healthy Caitlin Clark doesn't just score points, she shifts the balance of the entire league. But confirmation didn't calm the storm. It made it louder. Questions rose about whether Indiana was rushing her into action. Even sidelined rival Sophie Cunningham added fuel to the fire, warning, "Almost ready doesn't cut it at this level." Was it criticism? Support? A challenge? Fans couldn't decide, but it lit the debate on fire. And then came the rumors. Some insiders claimed she could be back as soon as the 22nd. Others pointed to the 24th or 26th overnight. Every upcoming Fever game turned into a must-watch event. Ticket resellers hiked prices. Merchandise sales spiked. And WNBA executives leaned into the frenzy, teasing fans that something big was on the horizon. What made this moment so explosive was the timing. The Fever season was hanging by a thread. The league was desperate to keep its momentum alive. And Caitlin Clark herself was walking a razor's edge between legend and liability. Confirming her return now wasn't just news. It was a signal that the next chapter of her story was about to be written live, under the brightest spotlight she's ever faced. But even in all the excitement, there was an unspoken truth. This comeback isn't just about one player returning from injury. It's about everything that comes next. Whether Caitlin Clark can truly save her team, silence the doubts, and rewrite a season that nearly collapsed without her. Clark's return doesn't just add another guard to Indiana's lineup. It shifts the entire WNBA landscape. Fans already know what she brings: instant offense, game-breaking shooting, and gravity on the court that forces defenders out of position. She ignites her teammates and electrifies every arena she steps into. But the real question is, what version of Caitlin will we see now? Will she be the fearless sniper who buried 7 threes against the Liberty in one of the most iconic comebacks in league history? Or will injuries force her to adapt into a new kind of player? For the Fever, the stakes couldn't be higher. Their backcourt has been gutted, and though the team has battled with grit, they are teetering on the edge of playoff contention. Clark's return could be the spark for one final push, a rally that could flip the standings and transform them from underdogs into dangerous spoilers. But it's a dangerous tightrope. One wrong step could not only end her season, but also change the trajectory of her entire career. That's the gamble everyone is watching. Can Caitlin save her team without sacrificing herself? And the league itself knows what's at stake. Clark has been the engine behind record-breaking attendance, skyrocketing ratings, and sold-out arenas. Her jersey sales lead the league. Her highlights trend worldwide. Sponsors invest more when she plays. Rivalries intensify. Her presence has turned WNBA games into must-watch television. That's why her return isn't just a comeback. It's an economic and cultural event. For the fans, it's redemption. They've endured weeks of vague injury reports, endless speculation, and heated debates online. They've kept her name trending even when she wasn't playing. And now, finally, the wait is over. The question is no longer if Caitlin Clark will return. It's what kind of storm she'll unleash when she does. Some fans are dreaming of a heroic run that cements Caitlin Clark as the face of the WNBA for years to come. Others are nervous the rush could backfire. Either way, the anticipation has reached a fever pitch, no pun intended. But the bigger question remains, what does this mean for Caitlin Clark's legacy? What happens if this comeback doesn't go the way everyone expects? Caitlin's story has never been just about basketball. From the moment she stepped onto a WNBA court, she carried more than a jersey number. She carried a league, a fan base, and the future of women's sports. Her injuries this season reminded the world just how fragile that story could be. But her confirmed return proves one thing: Caitlin Clark isn't done writing her chapter. The fever needs her. The league needs her. And the fans who've stuck with her through every setback are ready to witness her rise again. Still, as thrilling as this moment is, it's also dangerous. Because comebacks aren't guaranteed fairy tales. If Caitlin lights up the scoreboard and drags Indiana back into the playoff hunt, her legend only grows. If she falters or suffers another setback, the doubts will return louder than ever, and the narrative shifts from invincibility to vulnerability. That's the razor's edge she's walking. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. It isn't just about her first shot back, her first three-pointer, or her first game winner. It's about whether she can take the noise, the pressure, and the risk, and turn it into fuel for something greater. So yes, Caitlin Clark has confirmed her comeback, and fans everywhere are stunned. But the real story isn't just that she's returning. It's what she chooses to do with this second chance. Will she rise and rewrite her legacy? Or will this be the moment that proves even superstars can crack under the weight of expectation? One thing is certain, from here on out, every game, every shot, every moment will feel bigger than basketball. Because Caitlin Clark's comeback isn't just about her body healing. It's about proving to the world, once again, why she was never hype, never ordinary, but the player who changes everything.